Good morning, Bourbon Bay. Happy Father's Day. And just wanted to say, hope everybody's doing good this evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you happen to be watching this. Man, this has been a pretty crazy week down here in Florida. We've had a lot of rain, especially in Southwest Florida. And then, yeah, this has just been a really crazy week. Going back to last weekend, I tried to do a video a little bit sooner than this, but as everybody knows, sometimes time gets in the way, things get in the way. But yeah, last weekend I did a promo at one of my plays or accounts with Tampa Bay Riverwalk. If you guys have ever been, it's a great place right in downtown Tampa, right on the river, and it has a beautiful pool and a beautiful view. My man Joseph, the bartender, was really working it or helping out and slinging some great drinks out there and great cocktails with some of Wicked Dolphins rum. And then I had my man DJ Jams and his crew, and he was definitely repping us out there at the pool party. Definitely a great event, definitely very fun. Next time you guys are ever in the area, I'd highly recommend going down there to Hotel Tampa Riverwalk. They definitely do a great job down at the pool party, and then it's a great hotel as well. But yeah, so kind of getting more into the reason I'm going to be doing this video today. Saw a little story on Moonshiners. Sure, if you guys have definitely heard of it, maybe not, but maybe some of you are saying like, okay, Steve, what the heck are you watching Moonshiners for? It's a reality show. And trust me, I used to be the same way. The show started back in, 13 years ago, and I definitely was one like, yeah, I'm not watching this because it's just going to be one of those crazy reality TV shows that, as we know, isn't really reality. It's just full of a bunch of fake stuff. But one of my friends that does a podcast called Bourbon Life, great guy, Mark, he actually sat down with me and did a podcast a while back. If you guys haven't checked it out, I definitely highly recommend going to my YouTube channel, which, I mean, if you guys don't subscribe or don't follow my YouTube channel at Bourbon Bay Talks on YouTube, highly recommend you guys go do that so you can check out some of my past videos where we talk about some of the things, like some of the things that I'm going to talk about today in today's video. Yeah, so I mean, if I'd love it if you guys definitely go and follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube. It definitely helps out a ton. But yeah, so I was listening to an episode. If you guys haven't heard of it, Bourbon Life, which is his channel, and he mostly does it on Spotify, or Apple iTunes, and many other places where you can go listen to podcasts or whatever your favorite channel is to go listen to podcasts. They're on it, and it's just Bourbon Life. But yeah, he was talking to one of the main characters, Digger, also affectionately known as Puss by his partner, and was listening to it and discovered that these guys actually know what they're talking about. It's not just a bunch of fake stuff like some of the other reality TV shows, that it's actually really nice or fun, enjoyable, and educational. And so I started checking it out, and I've watched pretty much from year 1 all the way to now, which they're in year 13. So but yeah, one of the most recent episodes they did, I was watching it the other night, and they Megan, I believe, was the Moonshiner's name, that when Digger asked them, because they're trying to grow an empire out there, about, and wanted to come up with a really good moonshine that would be very popular. And so one of the ones that Megan brought up was this person called Mahala Mullen, and I'm sure I'm not saying that name right. And I gotten some of this information from the show, and some of it from Big Hallie's liquor or spirits. So there's actually a spirit brand out there. It's probably a regional brand. And then also from Vardy Historical Society out there. in East Tennessee, where she was from. And so Big Hallie was this lady. She was a Mullen, and she was a part of this group. And I know I'm going to butcher it, the Mulligans. And they kind of were descendants from early Native American tribes and also a blending of some Europeans as well. So they lived up in this community called Vardy in eastern Tennessee, up on a ridge. And she basically lived her life with her husband, John, who in his own right was a local celebrity after getting struck by lightning and surviving. And yeah, so basically she was known for making moonshine, and really good moonshine. And apple brandy and peach were the two flavors that she was really well known for. And after the birth of her, so they say her 19th kid, 19 kids, she contracted a disease called elephantitis, which I'm sure many of you probably remember from the old movie. Maybe you don't. The Elephant Man, he kind of had the same disease that he was afflicted by, where basically it causes you to be permanently overweight or disfigured, where she got to the point where she grew to about 400 to 500 pounds, so they say, based on some of the information I read, some of the stories. And yeah, so basically whenever she was caught, as the sheriff in that town used to say, she was catchable but not fetchable, because she got to a point where she was so big that she couldn't fit through the front door of her own cabin. And even if they could get her out of the cabin, it was very tricky to get her down from where she lived in the mountains, so they couldn't get her to the courthouse. So basically she was, making moonshine with the knowledge of the police. And yeah, so basically kind of thumbed her nose up at the law enforcement, knew she couldn't really be ever caught or tried for her crimes. And so people would just come from far and wide and, come pick up their, moonshine. And, it was like a little local supermarket at the time. And some of the people also say, or some of the story goes to, is that the reason that they did this was because when she tried to apply for, some tax relief and then also some benefits for her children underneath the laws, the United States laws for Native American people, they denied her. And so she's like, well, fine, if you're not going to give me this, then I'm not paying any more taxes, so screw you. And so that's basically what she did. And she became very famous for making some amazing moonshine, which on the show of Moonshiners, they went searching because her husband was known to go around to the different farms and basically give these farmers seeds so that they could plant these apple trees for her so that she could basically have a continuous supply. Since she wasn't able to go out and get apples herself, she would have a continuous supply of apples to help her make her moonshine. And she had a 2-story cabin there that she was able to make the moonshine like on the first floor, and then on the second floor is where she had her kids and raised her family. And yeah, so basically, and these weren't like your nice, beautiful, amazing looking apples. Apparently they were really ugly looking, but this is kind of a story of like, hey, don't judge a book by its cover. Because yeah, these apples were like reddish with yellow, and then they had black spots on them, and they were a little bit disfigured. But apparently they had an amazing sugar content and were very sweet, which is, very important for good moonshine, is to have a nice high sugar content, because that helps, as I've talked about in previous videos, that helps to basically have the yeast help to break down the sugar and then turn it into alcohol, which gives it higher alcohol content. So yeah, that's definitely tells you don't ever judge a book by its cover, because hey, it may look ugly on the outside, but may be amazing on the inside. So, but yeah, so she basically did this all the way up until her death in 1898, and was famous for it. And so yeah, it's kind of funny that you get these great stories that come out, and you have another situation where, hey, a woman has played a huge part in basically what's the spirit of America, which, I mean, even before the U.S. became a country, we were making spirits, we were making moonshine. And really the only difference between distillers today and moonshiners of today too is that distillers today basically pay taxes on what they produce, where moonshiners don't. And while there is Moonshiners, the show there's some, not reality, some reality. It's actually a pretty educational show. It's really fun to watch. You learn a lot because they do talk about a lot of the process and what goes into making the moonshine, what goes into making spirits. And they do tell you a lot of history that dates back, to basically the founding and even before the founding of the U.S. Like one of the part of that episode was that Tim Scott, who is now owner of, the One Moonshine Company, and it's legal, and basically, my bad, sorry, Climax Whiskey, or Climax Moonshine, that's his company. And yeah, so basically one of the things he was doing on that episode was they were going around and trying to find out how to make Geneva, which is a type of gin that was very popular back during Martin Van Buren, our 8th president of the United States' time, and he was a very big partaker in Geneva and other spirits. Probably was known as, and I know people might fact check me on this or say, hey, that's not true, you should really read up, but hey, from the show, he was kind of known as one of our drunkest presidents. Which, yes, probably doesn't say a lot about Martin Van Buren, but, it's part of the history. It's what the United States has gone through. It's, helps to define our history every day. And that's kind of my point of my podcast, is to kind of delve in deep with the history. So, because it is a big part of the United States' culture. We just had National Bourbon Day. I believe that's National Bourbon Day because that was the day the United States signed into law that bourbon was America's spirit, or America's drink of choice. And yeah, so basically we do have a long history, and the making of spirits and bourbon and many other types of whiskey, or other types of liquor, it does run deep in the history of the United States. And yeah, and so basically one of the questions I like to ask is, and please write it down in the comments, is, what is everybody's favorite spirit? What do you enjoy? What do you like to partake in when it comes to having a nice relaxing drink after a long hard day of work, or going and spending time with friends and family? And especially for today, and if I didn't say it already, happy Father's Day. And I hope you guys have an amazing day and spending time with your dads, or those who Sally's dads have passed away, and remembering the great times with them, or those who are newly fathers themselves, because, hey, it takes a village, and we're not always perfect, but, it just means spending time with your kids and being there for them. So, but I hope everybody has a great day. And as always, if you like this video, please put a comment down there, or hey, let me know what you think. I'm always happy to read the comments. And please, more important than anything, please go and subscribe or follow me on my different platforms of Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Those are all very important to help this channel grow, and I promise I am trying to get work things out and grow the channel and hopefully get better. So I always love your feedback, and if you guys got any questions or have an idea of what we could do in the future for this show, please let me know. And again, thank you guys so much for the Vardy Historical Society, for Moonshiners, for bringing that story to my attention, and then also Big Helly Spirits. for their lovely information about the story that we talked about today. So hope all is well. Hope everybody has a great day today. And please enjoy and drink responsibly. And hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye.